Mrs. Johnson was one of those third grade Sunday school teachers that you always wanted to have. I mean, she was always smiling. She totally loved each one of her third grade students. She always brought a treat. And she just made everything come alive. She really helped the children understand the Bible and the Bible stories and the seasons of the year. And the church where she was at, there would be Sunday school every Sunday, regardless of what time of year it was. They never stopped. So it was all through summer. It was, during Christmas time, even on Easter Day. But there was one year, like this year, where Epiphany fell on a Sunday. And so Mrs. Johnson asked the kids if they could start thinking about what the Epiphany means. What does the Epiphany mean? She explained, of course, to the children that it was the day that the wise men, the magi, came and found Jesus and they worshiped him. But they also gave him precious gifts, gifts from their heart, gifts that meant something very special, that would be, of course, used to even anoint him after he died. And she challenged the kids. She said, I want you to this week to think about if you can bring one thing, just one thing, your favorite thing, the most important thing about what Jesus means to you and what you can give to Jesus. I want you to bring it next week, and in church, when the offering plate comes around, I want you to put it in the offering plate. Now, third graders are pretty smart. They take the challenge seriously, and they were thinking all week long, and the next Sunday, when it was time for worship and the offering plate came around, well, Susan was one of the first persons to put her special gift in the offering plate. And it was her favorite doll. That's what meant the most to her. Jeffrey put a picture of his family in the offering plate. Melissa, who always had a little bit of attitude, Melissa put a chewed up piece of gum into the offering plate because she loved gum. It's kids, what can you say? By the time all was said and done, there was the last young boy, Philip. Philip was sitting in the back with his mother, a single mom, who worked three jobs just to keep a roof over their head, just to keep food in their stomachs, just to even have a semblance of a Merry Christmas for him. And when it came, Philip put the offering plate down on the floor, and he stood in it. And his mother looked at him, and he said, "All I can give to Jesus is myself." He gave his self, his whole self, his whole being to Jesus. You know, we are in now this Epiphany season, a time where we will each Sunday be experiencing different epiphanies about who Jesus is and what he means, and we'll see it through various miracles, and we'll see it right before we get into Lent. That's not until March. We have a long way to go. That we'll see it when he climbs the mountain and is transfigured into dazzling white. But this is also a season, it's only January 6th, and it's a time of year where people make New Year's resolutions. Now, I personally don't think New Year's resolutions are necessarily too helpful, because I think most people fail New Year's resolutions within a day or two. Because what people try to change are things that, it's like in Lent, when people give something up, they give up something that they really don't mind giving up. You know, it needs to be significant. And so this Epiphany season, I'm asking and challenging all of us, what is it? What of yourself can you give to Jesus? What is so precious that you can't possibly imagine parting with it? But remember, God parted with God's Son. Allowed Jesus to die on the cross so that we might live. But you know, we're a post-resurrection people. We know the rest of the story. And so for each and every one of us, it might be something totally different. Maybe God is calling you to, you know what, you've always wanted, and you've said you wanted to read the Bible. And you want to read it. And so, well, go online, get a year plan, and read the Bible for the rest of the year. It'll take you 15 minutes a day. And yes, there will be boring parts in it. And yes, there are going to be parts that you're going to read and say, that's in there. But you can't argue with somebody or have an intelligent discussion with somebody about what's in Scripture if you've never read it. I mean, that could be one thing. That's giving of your time. You know? Another could be giving of your service. Maybe it's volunteering at the mission center in a couple hours a month. Maybe it's deciding, hey, you know what? God has blessed me with a gift of hospitality. And I'd love to, you know, I'll work with the hospitality ministry and see if we can, you know, work to make sure that our church is always welcoming to everyone, and that when they come to our coffee hour, they are embraced. Maybe God is asking you to give of more of your income. You know, it's a challenge. You know, nobody likes to talk about money, although I have to tell you something, Jesus talked about money more than anything else. So I think it was important for him. But maybe God is asking you to really think about what you want to give back to God because God has blessed you. I mean, the list can be enormous, but it will be different for each and every one of us. And I can promise you, as Philip was transformed at that service, and everyone who witnessed what he did was transformed, we too can be transformed if we give our whole self to the Christ child as the Magi did. Now, it's just by chance. It's just by chance that Herb picked this hymn for today. The hymn we just heard. We just sang. And I want to read you this last stanza. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what I can, I give him. Give my heart. My friends, let's give our heart, our mind, our bodies, and our souls to Christ. And may we offer the King the homage and praise he deserves. Amen.